Imagine this. You're asked, how much would it cost to send you to Mars? Sounds wild, right? We've all seen those bold claims online, land on Mars in 5 years, build a base in 10. But year after year, those deadlines come and go. So is this the next frontier of human achievement, or just a shiny mirage cooked up by big money? Let's dive in. To be honest, I'd give anything to see humans thriving on Mars in my lifetime, turning that rust-red wasteland into our second home. But real talk, we're light years away from making that happen. Chances are, I'll never lay eyes on a high-tech Martian cityscape. Humanity's obsession with Mars is practically hard-wired into our DNA. Back in the late 1800s, astronomer Percival Lowell was convinced there were advanced civilizations on Mars. He even claimed the dark lines he saw through his telescope were massive irrigation canals built by Martians trying to save their dying planet. Spoiler alert, it was all just wishful thinking. But here's the kicker, he was right about one thing. Mars does have water, though most of it's locked up as ice. That tiny fact alone has fueled our wildest dreams of staking a claim on the red planet. Fast forward to 1948, rocket genius Wernher von Braun started sketching out plans to send humans to Mars. In his book, he even dreamed up scenes of astronauts shaking hands with Martian natives, with their leader named, wait for it, Elon. Talk about a wild coincidence, Elon. Musk was born just 19 years after that book hit the shelves. And, Musk's famous promise, humans on Mars in as little as 5 years, max 10. As cool as that sounds, let's just say I'm keeping my expectations in check. Ever since our ancient ancestors first looked up at the stars, Mars's reddish glow has been like a cosmic siren call. In 1976, NASA's Viking 1 and Viking 2 finally touched down. Scientists were on the edge of their seats, terrified that the probes might accidentally bring Earth bacteria and trigger a biological invasion. Some even argued we should leave Mars alone until we knew for sure if it was inhabited, even by microscopic life. But did we listen? Nope. We've since sent over a dozen more rovers and drones, all on a single-minded mission: find life, or at least prove it existed. And boy, have we found some mind-blowing stuff. The Curiosity and Perseverance rovers stumbled upon ancient lakebeds filled with organic molecules. It's like finding a smoking gun at a crime scene, proof that billions of years ago, Mars was probably a warm, wet paradise. Plus, our probes mapped the planet and discovered massive underground ice deposits, even near the equator. Melt that ice, and you'd get a global ocean dozens of meters deep. With water and coal in the atmosphere, we could potentially cook up fuel, oxygen, and drinking water. Sounds like a sci-fi dream, right? Except actually getting those resources out of the ground. That's like trying to build a skyscraper with toothpicks and glue, insanely difficult. You might think, hey, we've got SpaceX and crazy advanced tech. Mars, here we come. But hold your horses. Mars is like that tough as Nail's boss in a video game. First off, it's got no global magnetic field and an atmosphere thinner than a sheet of paper. Astronauts on Mars would be bombarded with radiation like standing in front of an X-ray machine 24/7. One round trip to Mars could expose them to the radiation equivalent of hundreds of X-rays. Without top-notch shielding, their DNA could mutate and their cancer risk would skyrocket. And let's not forget gravity. Mars's pull is just over 1/3 of Earth's. We've seen how astronauts on the ISS struggle to walk after months in low gravity. On Mars, where missions could last years, who knows what it'd do to our bodies. Bones turning to jelly, muscles wasting away. It's a total wild card. Even if we solve those problems, where do we land? The places scientists are most excited about, the spots with the best odds of finding life, are also the easiest to land on. Talk about a catch -22. We can't just stomp around and risk wiping out potential Martian life or dumping Earth germs everywhere. Remember when scientists thought they'd found alien life in a sample, only to realize it was just Earth bacteria that hitched a ride? Yeah, we can't afford those mistakes on Mars. So, picking that perfect landing site, one with water, thicker air, good sunlight, and zero signs of current life is like finding a needle in a haystack. That's why Mars sample return missions are the make or break deal. Perseverance rovers already stuffed tubes full of Martian rock and soil, just waiting for a pickup. Until we get those samples back to Earth and analyze them under a microscope, we're just guessing about Mars's life story. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, money. Sending a pineapple to the International Space Station, $20,000. Sending it to Mars, multiply that by at least 10, probably more. Sending an astronaut with all their supplies, it's like trying to launch a small city into spaceway, more challenging than the moon landing. Musk says Starship will slash costs so much that even middle-class folks could afford a ticket. Sounds amazing, but here's the reality check. Starship's still in the trial and error phase. Some launches go great, others end in fiery explosions. Those 5-year landing promises, best enjoyed with a side of skepticism. And Mars trips aren't as simple as hopping on a plane. There's a 26-month-long launch window when Earth and Mars line up just right. A one-way journey takes 7 to 9 months, and round trips, you're looking at 3 years away from home. Imagine being stuck in a tin can with the same crewmates for years, dealing with radiation, boredom, and limited supplies. It's like the world's most extreme reality show, but with zero room for error. Then there's the Mars Dune Alpha experiment, where volunteers live in a fake Martian habitat for a year. It's a start, but actual Mars has real radiation, killer dust storms, and dust so fine and static, charged that it can jam machinery and fry solar panels. Just ask the Opportunity rover, which died thanks to dust. Cost estimates for a one-way manned mission, anywhere from $100 billion to $1 trillion. Even if Starship lives up to the hype, funding decades, long colonization projects is a whole other beast. Who's going to foot the bill? Governments that can barely agree on a budget. Billionaires with their own agendas. And what about the critics who say we should fix Earth's problems, like climate change and poverty, before playing space cowboy? They've got a point, but space fans argue that Mars missions could spark the next tech revolution. After all, GPS, solar panels, and countless other inventions came from space research. So, is Mars colonization the future of humanity, or an expensive pipe dream? The truth is probably somewhere in between. In the next 20 to 30 years, we might send crews for short, risky science missions. But full-blown cities, mass migration, that's stuff for our great-grandkids to worry about. Me, I'll keep watching SpaceX launches with popcorn in hand, crossing my fingers for a miracle. Chances are I'll never set foot on Mars. But who knows? Maybe one day, my grandkids will scroll through Instagram posts from Mars City and laugh at how primitive Earth was in 2025. Until then, let's try not to turn our home planet into a second Mars. Okay?